Of all the characters we meet throughout Elden Ring, none appear before us as often as Melina, and yet it is her lore that hides the deepest mysteries, leaving more questions than answers. She walks beside us from the very beginning of our journey, and that is no accident. At first, she may seem like an open book, but the further you dig, the more you realize her story runs deep, down a rabbit hole few have truly explored. We learn early on that she is the daughter of her mother within the Erd Tree, Marika herself, and that she was born at the foot of the Erd Tree. Though I can't help but wonder, was she truly born there, or reborn? Because as we come to know, she was burned, and left without a body, little more than a spirit. When her spirit fades during the battle against Morgott, an illusory Erd Tree blooms where she falls, healing us in its golden light. It's the very same kind of Erd Tree that can be summoned through the minor Erd Tree incantation, which tells us, Secret Incantation of Queen Marika. Only the kindness of gold, without order, creates a small illusory Erd Tree that continuously restores the HP of nearby allies. Marika bathed the village of her home in gold, knowing full well that there was no one to heal. From the different endings, we know that the Erd Tree, or at least its spiritual shell, changes in appearance depending on the composition of the Elden Ring, which suggests that this golden glow is the manifestation of Marika's own power, of the Golden Order itself, a clear link between mother and daughter. But what's even more intriguing is the connection it draws to the events of the Shadow Realm. It ties Melina directly to the Shaman village, and to Shadow of the Erd Tree. This golden light then represents Marika, and the Golden Order she created. As we know, the defining event behind its establishment was the sealing away of the Rune of Death, and Marika's ascension to godhood. For it was in that moment that gold was born, and with it, shadow. The trailer shows this very scene, the birth of gold itself. It required the Gate of Divinity, built through the mass sacrifice of the Hornsent, which suggests that the deaths of so many Hornsent brought this gold into the lands between, just as Melina's own death gives rise to an illusory Erd Tree of golden light. And so I wonder, could both of these acts symbolize the same truth? That Melina's disembodied nature exists because she too was once sacrificed, perhaps by her own mother, for Marika's divine purpose? It becomes even more striking when we see Marika in the trailer, reaching into a womb, pulling forth something golden, then raising her arms as if offering those golden threads in sacrifice. It almost feels as though Melina was denied a body from the moment of her creation, which might mean that her being burned has less to do with how she lost her form, and more to do with why. Her role as the Kindling Maiden. Melina's moveset closely resembles that of the Black Knife assassins. Even her weapon, the Blade of Calling, looks and behaves much like the Black Knife. The only difference is that her blade radiates a golden essence rather than one imbued with destined death. The Black Knife armor tells us that the assassins were all women, and that, according to rumor, they were all Numen, the same race as Queen Marika, and, at least in part, as Melina herself. The Blade of Calling reads, "The one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death." These are the very same words Melina speaks before igniting the Erd Tree with the Flame of Ruin, fulfilling her duty as Kindling Maiden. But these words carry a deeper meaning. The one who walks alongside flame does not refer to the Tarnish simply accompanying her to the Forge of the Giants. The flame we walk beside is her. Melina is the flame, the Kindling Maiden, who, much like her brother Mesmer, carried a vision of fire within her. So, the true meaning of her blade's inscription becomes clear. Those who walk beside her will one day encounter destined death. And indeed, soon after she speaks those words, we awaken in Farum Azula. Yet among all the mysteries surrounding Melina, the most enigmatic by far lies in the Frenzied Flame ending, and her connection to destined death itself. But to understand that, we must return to the very beginning. As the game teaches us, Marika desired three things above all else: power, eternal life, and an unshakable order, her vision of the Golden Order. To achieve it, she deceived others, wiped out entire peoples like the Fire Giants, and sealed away the true death, destined death itself. Her greatest sins were buried within the Shadow Realm. What remained in the lands between was her radiant, yet hollow, perfection. As we know, Elden Ring is built upon duality, and so, where there is order, there must also be chaos. or more precisely, the Frenzied Flame. Under the Golden Order, life endures eternally, but under the Frenzied Flame, all life would melt away.
Please, seek not the Frenzied Flame. As one who strives to become a lord, deny not the lives, the new births of this world.
The Age of Chaos stands as the antithesis of the Age of the Erdtree, and as we progress through the Frenzied Flame questline, we learn that Melina clings to the current age and to everything it represents.
You have inherited the Frenzied Flame. A pity. You are no longer fit. Our journey together ends here. And remember, should you rise as the Lord of Chaos, I will kill you. As sure as night follows day.
She vows that if we embrace the Frenzied Flame, if we become the Lord of Frenzied Flame, she will return and slay us herself. Now that we've established this, the next question becomes inevitable. What happened to Melina? She appears changed, her form more chaotic, her skin pale, and above all, her eyes draw our attention. Her right eye, once radiant with gold, has now gone dim. The reason becomes clearer when we look to the lore surrounding Godfrey, much of which we learn through Marika's echoes. We come to understand that Marika may have used Godfrey for her own purposes, such as leading the charge against the fire giants. When Godfrey and his warriors had fulfilled their role, Marika spoke these words.
My lord, and thy warriors, I divest each of thee of thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between. Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die.
The grace, the golden light within their eyes, faded away, and the same thing happens with Melina in the Frenzied Flame ending. Her eye turns gray, signifying that her purpose as Kindling Maiden is complete, and the grace within her right eye has vanished. But the more significant change lies within her other eye, the one that had always been closed, marked by a seal resembling the claw of a raven, a symbol of death. When this eye finally opens, we see a shade of deep violet, a color best described as gloam. It's no wonder then that many draw a connection between Melina and the Gloam Eyed Queen. Whether the Gloam Eyed Queen herself truly bore purple eyes is uncertain. Perhaps it will never be known. But what we do understand, as I explained in my previous video, is her symbolic meaning. Gloam is not just a color, it is the moment between light and dark, the twilight between day and night. She represents the space between life and death, between chaos and order. Exactly what is embodied in the Frenzied Flame ending. Melina once told us she wished to preserve the world as it is, yet she helps us unseal destined death, shattering the Golden Order. And later, as the Lord of Frenzied Flame, she swears to kill us. She wants neither eternal order nor consuming chaos, neither endless life nor utter extinction. She stands between them, like twilight between day and night. The Gloam Eyed Queen, too, is described as both a god-slaying entity and a life-giving mother to the Godskins. She is death and life. It's no coincidence, then, that in the Frenzied Flame ending, we see not 2 fingers, but a third, a hand of 3 fingers, a symbol of what lies between duality. Still, I don't believe Melina is the original Gloam Eyed Queen mentioned in the item descriptions. Rather, I believe something else. As we learn in the game, the Lord of Frenzied Flame is not a single being. It's a title, an essence that can inhabit anyone who fulfills the right conditions. We can become it, just as Midra does in Shadow of the Erdtree. And so, I think the same is true for the Gloam Eyed Queen, that Melina, in this ending, becomes her vessel, the one meant to restore balance to the world. This is why we see her only in that ending. In all others, there is neither pure order nor pure chaos. Only in the Frenzied Flame ending has the power of the Rune of Death been unsealed, and the world once again teeters on the brink, ready to break free from the cycle of life and death. And Melina returns to deliver what we truly deserve, our destined death. In the end, she remains one of the most complex figures in all of Elden Ring's mythology. Neither a hero nor an antagonist. She is the embodiment of the in-between, the inevitable balance between order and chaos, life and death. Her story reminds us that even in a world ruled by gods, flames, and runes, true destiny does not lie in power or immortality, but in the acceptance of the eternal cycle. For Elden Ring is not a tale that ends, it is one that turns forever, circling between gold and ash, between grace and flame. And somewhere within that twilight, she stands, the burning kindling, beneath the shadow of the Erd Tree.